I'm at 11. Well, okay, so I finished the only story, and now I don't know how many pages it was. It's like 160 something. But now I'm on the other reason why I'm on page
11. Depression.
Chloe,
You're upset.
285.
for Haunting of Sun.
Yeah. And then that's it.
Brian?
I'm on page 419.
Popping pills in class, I see.
Evan? What page are you on? Of Firestar?
No.
What book?
Starting.
You said 657. 657. Kylie?
Oh, 30.
You're reading Enrique's Journey. That's thick.
Yeah.
For this semester?
Yeah.
30.
How are you supposed to have again?
300 by next week.
I feel like that test is one of the things that made me really enjoy that book.
120 and
Someone smells really good.
I just put lotion.
Like what?
Like lotion.
Lotion?
That must have been you.
I have been using lube
Jackson,
today.
I have some case.
Of what book?
Throwback Thursday. Oh, yeah.
That test
What's
is
the
one.
subtitle?
Fox fur coat.
great minds.
That's creepy. That is very creepy. Next Thursday, can we do bring pictures?
Haley?
Uh-huh. Oh, pages. Okay. I finished The Boy in Striped Pajamas. I don't know how many I have. But then Harry Potter, The Chamber of Secrets, 159.
Do you want to go find out how many Boy in Striped Pajamas I have?
Yeah.
Chamber of Secrets, sorry.
159.
Yeah.
It's on your shoulder.
What happened? What'd you do? What did you do?
She shot herself with lotion.
Yeah. That was really
Sometimes I do that.
Your laugh. That was so funny. I love that. Oh, that was silly. Hide your face. You're like, I'm scared.
Oh.
Kate. I think we could go through it now.
Okay, we were reading chapter 4 in pairs.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's get back into our pairs and finish reading chapter 4. I want to only take 5 minutes because we're a little bit behind all the other groups. So let's quickly get in our groups and start finishing chapter 4. If you want to just finish it at your desk really quick, that's fine too. And then we're going to move on to chapter 5. We're going to listen to chapter 5, so just finish chapter 4.
My thing.
Why can't we just listen to all the
250?
Why can't we listen to all the chapters and figure out how to pronounce words that way?
Because we got to do some of the work ourselves.
I do none of the work myself.
Hey, I called you into supplemental again to finish that test.
Oh,
Monkey's
great.
Paw.
Yay.
Then you'll be caught up. Then you'll be passing 8th grade. Yeah, go ahead.
I doubt I will. I still have one math test that's incomplete.
Okay, yep. We're going to finish reading chapter 4. And then in 5 to 7 minutes, I'm going to come get us and we're going to listen to chapter 5.
Oh, are we doing every other chapter?
I still got a math test that's incomplete, and I can't actually redo it. So.
Why?
Miss Wood left, remember?
Yeah, that was kind of depressing. I thought it was going to be
I just don't.
she was a good teacher, but she was kind of mean sometimes. which I mean that was fine. And now we have Mrs. Confer. She's kind of a good teacher, but it's really awkward.
Kind of. That's
Kind of,
nice.
like-
Are we on chapter 4?
I just didn't care at all. But
Okay, let's read chapter 4, okay?
chapter 4.
Yep.
Number 15. Perfect footless.
And if you guys take a look at the throwback, it talks a lot about the fox furs. And I just wanted to give you guys a visual of what those look like. They were very fashionable in the 1930s. Only the rich women could afford them.
Ooh.
Okay, it had a whole fox face and everything.
Ew.
Very, very strange.
The rich women are always the attractive women.
I'm sure if your mom had one, you'd wear it and you'd be Selena.
You'd probably get scabies.
No.
You'd probably get scabies from wearing that.
No, because they're dead.
So,
Okay, who wants to start? I read this one. Okay, no. Okay, wait, so okay, your code. What is chapter? Alright, so I'm gonna eat you alive and skip you code. Offered a drink after having my head up, but I didn't because never to turn down.
am I allowed to bring in my own Chromebook?
Am I surprised to not give us
Just my own Chromebook for my house.
through my hair and then all of a sudden it became wet and shiny.
Your own devices are not allowed.
What?
So, it's funny.
The throwback is
It's just a lady from like
You know how you're not
Cheer week, I'll max don't plus.
I do it anyways because, I mean, I'm always hungry. I've been eating and so,
They must have been heavy.
Oh no!
I do
it anyways because, yeah, like I said,
Of course you're eating food.
poison. What am I gonna say? I got poisoned.
Why do you always have room in your stomach to eat?
I'm saying I don't care if I did. If like I took food from somebody, I wouldn't care.
Excuse me, what do you want?
You're peeing.
You're two for free.
All you have to give up is your soul. You got that for free.
We're finishing reading chapter 4.
Please stop making noise. Leave me alone.
Read it at home.
I want to read it.
Why not? It has shit to do with home. Really? Name one thing. Karate. Okay, that's something you have. Something that you actually want to do that you don't have to pay for. I have to do my parents. Why not? Other than that,
That's what we call domestic abuse in the
right?
West.
Nothing. So you can read at home after
I have to
karate.
take out the trash.
Okay, then do that and then read it. Then do that or do that and then read it.
Get a chainsaw.
Yeah, like he said.
We own a chainsaw.
Then hurry up and do it then.
I finished.
Okay, a few more
Stop
minutes and then we're
being
going to move
poor.
on.
Stop being poor.
Just stop being poor.
I can't do that.
Just stop having
Stop having children.
cancer.
Well then.
That's what I said to my grandma. Just stop. Just stop having cancer. That's the joke.
Hey, Kaylin.
Okay, we're finishing reading chapter 4.
Stop being. Stop being poor, being lazy, being good. Stop being mean.
I can't believe I'm friends with you.
Okay.
No, we have to go by.
I'll do jumping jacks.
Goodbye. I had fun.
Who wants to ring the doorbell?
Hi.
Okay, girls, are you done with chapter 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am. We were speaking yesterday.
Ring the doorbell, Austin.
What doorbell?
Doorbell.
You rung it, okay? You woke her up. Blow on her.
No.
Blow on her.
No. That's super weird.
Just blow on her.
I'm not gonna blow any woman I know.
Here. You messed up her hair. Now high five her.
I know that Clint Fury's finger he fell to the ground and in the moment appeared
You killed her.
Good. I don't want to blow any females ever again.
Are you sure? Okay. Austin? It's not the most appropriate thing I've ever heard.
So, it's not the most inappropriate thing either.
Well, you're both right there.
Yo, Brianna, what was that petition for?
Miss Twitty, do you want to ring the doorbell?
No.
Ding, ding, ding.
Sure don't. Ashley, can you go get the girls in the media center?
What?
Can you go get the girls that are in the media center?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Go get them.
Hey, girls, come on back in.
And rob that.
Okay, ring the doorbell. You woke her up. Blow on her. Messed up her hair. High five her. You killed her.
I like to just backhand people sometimes.
Okay, Ashley, sit down. Can we go back to our regular seats, please?
Naughty.
Autumn.
I don't know
Okay.
where I was going with that one.
At the end of chapter 4, we kind of get a really big dead giveaway about the setting. Okay? What proves this setting again? The bombed out buildings in chapter 2 and 3 were a dead giveaway. What gives it away this time?
The kohlrabi fields.
The what?
They said kohlrabi field, like a kohlrabi thing. Or no,
What?
I don't know. Sauerkraut. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay.
Is that a food?
Yeah.
It's a horrible food.
I was thinking of kohlrabi for some reason.
Sauerkraut is
Yeah.
It's another vegetable.
They're talking about cars.
sauerkraut is not a vegetable.
Okay. Trolley, like a little train. Okay. That usually are in a city, right? They talked about all the people rushing around, the sandbags and stuff in alleyways and in roads, people digging ditches. There's just a lot of giveaways that they're in a big place with a lot of people. Okay, so remember that for when we take our quiz.
Wait, so how big were the ghettos? Like, how big were the walls?
The walls,
Yeah, they were just
Like,
around an
a couple
entire city.
stories probably,
They
of brick.
were just around an entire wall.
Yeah, they walled off a certain part of the city. Okay, let's you guys be on chapter 5. I'm gonna play it through the Audible. So follow along as we're listening.
Audible.com.
No.
7.
Some classes are on 7. We're a little bit behind.
5.
7's my favorite number.
Soon the airplanes came, adding their waspy buzz to the music. I wanted to see them, but Uri would not let me go outside. Why can't we go out? I said. They're dropping bombs, he said. I thought, this is what the enemy does. He flies overhead in his airplane. If he sees you in the street below, he reaches out and drops the bomb on your head. I pictured bombs as black iron balls about the size of a sauerkraut kettle. Every day the siren screamed to tell us the bombs were coming.
Okay, what about that image is childish again? He kind of almost thinks in like animated thoughts. Like cartoon animation, like a little plane like buzzing overhead and them dropping like this big iron ball and it falling like directly on someone's head below.
And then exploding.
Well, maybe not exploding.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
you said a
he
bomb.
thinks like a little kid in animation, which is not what happens. It's like the unfooted boots. He's thinking about bombs in a very like naive way. We got to pay attention to those little details because that's the only indication we get about how old he is.
We stayed in the cellar and went out at night. That's when I learned the reality of bombs. Beyond the rooftops, the city was on fire. It looked like the sun was stuck. Those were the days and nights. On some nights, we were a city of 2. We did not have to snatch. We simply walked into the empty shops of bakers and butchers and grocers and took whatever we pleased and walked out and walked home. We did not run. The streetlights were out. Sometimes in the night we went to the stable. The others were there. Everyone put food into a big pile. We wrestled in the food before we ate it. We clubbed each other blindly with arm-long sausages. Cigarette tips glowed orange in the dark. The horses were gone. The stableman never came shouting anymore. Then, one day, the sirens were silent. Uri and I were home in our basement. Uri said, "Stay here." I went outside, and when he came back, he said, "Let's go." He stuffed a cheese into his pocket and one into mine, and we went out through the barber shop and into the street. We walked fast. I could not keep up. Uri took my hand and pulled me. People were out. They were heading the way we were going. We passed the black, twisted skeletons of streetcars. Sometimes we had to trot down the middle of the street because the walls of buildings had crumpled and spilled over the sidewalks. Stacks of sandbags were everywhere. People were hurrying. Machine guns looked to me like praying mantises. Airplanes flew overhead, but no bombs fell from them. I saw someone running. That was all I needed. I could not walk if someone else was running. I broke loose from Uri. Others were running. It was a race. I didn't know where the finish line was, but I was determined to win. Many had shouted, "Stop!" but no one had ever caught me. The street was getting more and more crowded as people poured into it. I streaked through the crowds. I passed other runners. I didn't care how many there were. I would beat them all. I laughed as I ran. Then I was aware of a noise. I felt it before I heard it. It was deep and grumbling and seemed to come from beneath the streets. And there was another sound. It was like the beat of a great drum, or 1,000 drums, and the more I ran, the louder it became. And now the people were mobbed, piled like bombed bricks, the spaces between them gone. But I found spaces. I always found spaces, and I darted through them. I could taste the finish line, and suddenly I broke free. I burst out of the mob. I was in nothing but space, and the drumbeat was deafening. "I won!" I shouted, and threw up my hands in victory. And then something hit me on the ear, and I was on the ground, and the drumbeat was rolling over me. I looked up, and I saw boots, the tallest, blackest, shiniest boots I had ever seen, endless columns. For an instant, I saw my gaping face in one of them. I knew what I must be seeing. Uri had spoken often of them. I gasped aloud. Jackboots. They were magnificent. There were men attached to them, but it was as if the boots were wearing the men. They did not walk like ordinary footwear, the boots. When one stood at tall, stiff attention, the other swung straight out till it was so high I could have walked under it. Only then did it return to earth and the other take off. 1,000 of them swinging up as one, falling like the footstep of a single 1,000-footed giant. Leaves leaped.
Okay, so that's, I don't know if you've ever seen footage of how the Nazis marched.
It was basically exactly like a march. They have a lot better.
Thank you, Austin, for the visual. Yeah, and they actually held their hands at attention, too. So they walked like this, and it was almost like they ran. Like, it wasn't just like they, like, did it very quickly and very in sync. And yeah, that's how they march. So you can just imagine like 1,000, it's one thing to march like this, but when you're bringing your foot down from like a height and snapping it together, like think about how loud that was. 1,000 men doing that in sync. Okay. And that's like the drum beat that he was hearing. The like smack of the boots against the ground.
So wait, so they like hit him in the head? Like it says that he got hit in the ear. Was like that just the noise, or did he actually get hit in the ear? Like before he fell down?
Like a bullfish.
Like it says, and
yeah, he ran out into the boots.
So he got hit in the head.
Yeah.
With what?
He got knocked down. Probably by one of the soldiers. Yep. Because remember, he like broke free out of the crowd, and then he was like in the.
Alright, so wait, were they walking down the street and like the Nazis were going this way, or were they actually?
The Nazis were rolling in like down the street, and the crowds were watching.
Okay.
The parade of jackboots went on forever. Uri told me later that the street of the parade was so wonderfully wide, it was not even called a street, but a boulevard. And then I was in the air. A hand had hoisted me up, and I was dangling above the street and returned to my feet. A soldier was smiling down at me. His boots came to my shoulder, and his gray uniform was piped and spangled with silver. The brim of his hat was black and shiny like the boots. Above it glistened a silver bird that I knew the boys in the stable would have loved to steal. The soldier smiled down at me. He mussed my hair and pinched my cheek. "Tiny little Jew," he said. "Happy to see us, are you?" "I'm not a Jew," I told him. I held up my yellow stone. "I'm a gypsy." My reply delighted him. "Ah, so, a gypsy. Good. Very good." And he took me under both arms and lifted me and deposited me back on the sidewalk at the front of the crowd. "Good day, little gypsy," he said. And then the smile left his face, and he stood tall, and the heels of the boots snapped together with a clack, and he saluted me and marched off. The march of the jackboots went on and on. After a while, Uri found me. "Look," I said, "the jackboots." I thought he would cheer, but he did not. He stood behind me with his hands on my shoulders. I looked at the faces of the crowd. No one was cheering or even smiling. I was surprised. Weren't they thrilled by the spectacle before them? And now the deep grumbling was getting louder and beginning to overcome the drumbeat of the jackboots. I had always looked to the sky for thunder, but this thunder was coming from beneath my feet. The street itself was trembling. And then I saw them. "Uri!" I cried. "Tanks," he said. Colossal, gray, long-snouted beetles. The tanks roared up the boulevard 4 by 4, and the sky shook on its hinges, and I saw at once how silly it had been to try to stop them with ditches and sandbags and machine guns. I clamped my hands over my ears, A single white flower flew out of the crowd. It bounced from the iron flank of a tank and broke into petals. I had no flower, so I threw my cheese.
Okay. So, again, his immaturity shows in this part because he thinks it's a parade. He's surprised that no one is cheering. He now knows what a jackboot is, and is he impressed?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. We're going to see what his impression of the jackboots kind of does. It kind of motivates him to want to be one someday. He doesn't know who they are. The jackboot was nice to him, huh?
Yeah, that's like.
But was it genuine? What do you guys think? He's just a little kid.
So were they nice?
Are they going to come in? Anyone that invades, are they going to come in and just start killing people?
No.
Like right off the bat?
No.
What does that do to a group of people?
Chaos.
War.
Like make them want to revolt immediately, right? They're going to come in and they're going to be doing like nice things at first to the people of Poland. Not the Jews. The Jews they treat horribly from the very get-go. But they don't want the people of Poland to revolt against them.
What about the gypsies? What did they do to the gypsies?
Same thing as the Jews. They didn't like the gypsies.
Why?
Guys, they thought they were evil.
Because they just, they were like a dirty group of people. They didn't have a very good reputation. What about the flower part? When do we throw flowers?
And excitement.
Okay. Yeah. Parades. Okay.
Parades.
Weddings is a good one. Something that maybe you guys
That's a big wedding.
we don't necessarily do this much anymore because we don't have parades where like our president rides around, because the last time we had a parade where a president rolled around
Assassination
was when JFK got assassinated.
Woo.
Okay.
Ain't that great, huh?
I remember when Obama came last year, like before he got before he came out of office, like he came to the Air Force Base, and like we basically had a parade there. Except for we only have like cop cars and limousines.
Yeah. Well, so we don't have there's definitely like the cavalcade will come in with like his security, and he'll be in like one of the cars and nobody knows which one. But